Brand new polling, which shows that Mr. Romney's strong debate performance last week may be resonating with voters. Take a look at this. It's the latest Pew poll of likely voters. Governor Romney now holding a 4-point lead over the president. The governor trailed the president by 8 points in the previous poll. And among likely women voters, Governor Romney has closed a huge gender gap with the president. Both candidates now even at 47%. Compare that to the same poll taken in mid-September before the debate. Take a look at that gap. Governor Romney trailing the president by 19 points. Kimberly Strassel is a columnist for the Wall Street Journal. She just wrote about the women vote, in fact, in the GOP. First of all, Kim, do you buy this type of move, this type of closing of the gender gap in such a short time?
It is a remarkable poll. This is the entire switch, not just among women voters, but that 12-point swing you saw as well, too, among all likely voters. That has to be one of the biggest post-debate poll flips that you have seen ever. So it is huge. Now, however, what we are seeing is if you look out, you are beginning to see some polls come out in the battleground states, too, and they are also showing big movement. So whether or not the Pew poll is exactly spot on, what is without a doubt is that Governor Romney seems to have made up a lot of ground in this debate and really caused people to change their minds.
We talk a lot about sampling with polls, and I just want to point out that a couple weeks ago for that Pew poll, there were less Republicans sampled than this time around. So that could be a factor, but again, the polls stand where they are today as Pew's just calling people, and if they're likely voters taking what they think about either party and either candidate. Kim, a couple weeks ago, you wrote an article, The GOP's Female Trouble, and you used the metaphor fossilized male dinosaurs. For our viewers that maybe didn't get a chance to read the article, what was the point, and how maybe has your view changed, if at all?
I think the point, actually, interesting, was illustrated, actually, in the debate this past week between Governor Romney and Barack Obama. The argument here is, look, for most of this year, Barack Obama has been hitting Mitt Romney on the war on women, arguing he's waging a war on women, really trying to scare women voters about what life would be like under a Romney presidency. And Mitt Romney, for a long time, his way of dealing with this was, and you saw this in particular at the convention, was to try to make himself more likable, talk about how he was a good husband and a good father and the good things he'd done for people. That wasn't necessarily working. The point of the column and what you saw him do at the debate this week was instead to make his policy arguments, to instead go out there very clearly explained how he was going to help the middle class, and in doing so make all voters and women too realize that some of the things that he was putting forward could actually have a positive impact on their life. That went far more toward making him more likable than some of his more overt actions.
Very interesting to see what changes can be made in just a short time. You mentioned the convention. Just a quick final question here. One of the talks coming out of all the conventions was about Ann Romney and about Michelle Obama. And right now we're not talking a lot about them. We know Ann Romney's going to be talking to Martha McCallum tomorrow. She's also going to be hosting Good Morning America tomorrow. What kind of factor do you think, if any, these two women may bring to the election and what we might see over the next 4 weeks? Are they a factor?
Look, the general argument out there is that, you know, spouses of candidates don't tend to win them elections. They can be a net drawback if they don't do a good job, if they flub, if they become a center of attention. But neither of these women are doing that. What they have both proven is that they are very effective campaigners for their husbands and in shoring up their messages. And in that regard, they're adding some ballast to both of the campaigns, and in particular reaching out to some of those women voters we were just talking to. But they're mostly there as a sort of a side-by-side to keep their husband's message out there rather than necessarily winning the campaign on their own.
Some important context for us today. It's good if they're not winning the campaign on their own because they're not the ones running for president, right? So
that's right.
That's probably a good thing. Kim, it's always great to talk to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah.
Breaking news.